1930s, amid the hard Depression times, one little girl by the name of Shirley Temple captured the nation's heart with performances just like this.
When I get hold of the big bad wolf, I push him under the ground. Then I bite him in a million bits, and I gobble him right down. When they're inside me where it's dark, I walk around like Noah's Ark. I stuff my tummy like a goop with animal crackers in my soup.
Ah, yeah. Shirley Temple
Could you just
has written this book called Child Star, and here she is, Hollywood's greatest child star of all time, Shirley Temple Black. Hi, Shirley. How you doing? Nice
Regis?
to see you.
Kathie Lee. Greetings.
Yes, sit down and relax, and it's so nice
We
to
look
have
like
you.
we're ready for Thanksgiving instead of Halloween.
I feel like I've been tuned into you my entire life, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Grew up on all your movies.
Thank you.
Oh,
Can't help
This
it.
is a fun show.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be here. I feel
Thank you.
awake.
Oh, good.
This
Great.
is my debut of the book tour in New York.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Well, that's good.
And I've never done anything like this before.
You've never written the book before, have you? And yet there have
No.
been so many biographies
12
about you.
or
At least 12.
Yeah.
you want
Well,
to set the record
I
straight.
sure did want to set the records. What are all these? You've got
Take
everything.
your pick.
I don't want any of that.
I don't blame you.
You got coffee, you got Coca-Cola, or something else.
That's it.
I'll check it. I don't know.
Diet
what they-
Cola.
Oh,
that's all. But let me ask you something, Shirley. Were the biographies correct or
No.
close or...
Well, one of them, a really close friend of mine has read, and there are about 525 factual errors.
No kidding.
And that's what really got me going.
Oh, yeah.
But it took me 8 years to write this. But it's a, Child Star is not short.
It's 500
I'm
some
short,
pages.
but the book is thick.
And it's beautifully written.
And it stops at age 26, which was a lovely place to stop.
Well, it stopped when you finally kind of came full circle and found your second husband and had your 2 children with
Wonderful.
him.
38 years we've been married.
That's lovely. He's handsome.
Yes, he is. But I'm now writing book 2 because it's kind of interesting. I think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My life goes into 19-year segments.
Huh.
The first 19 years, I made films.
Yeah,
The second 19 years, I was raising my brood of 3 children.
sure.
And the last 19 years, I've been in government service. And if the viewers and the audience add those up, there's something missing. The first 3 years, I had to learn my trade.
That's right. You were
How
3
old were you when you
started.
actually made your debut? Were you 3
3.
3 years old?
But you started taking tap lessons when you were 2.
Well, a little more than that. but,
Yeah.
Now, every mother and father thinks that their little girl or their little guy is going to be, a star. Yet you had this face, that everybody could see it was going to happen to you.
And you had a talent that was sheer genius, really.
Thank you.
Shall we go out with...
They're nice in New York.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves you. Let's take one more look now at Heidi. This is 1937.
I can't take this
And
scene.
how old are you here?
This will be,
1937?
I was 9 years old.
9 years old, Shirley Temple.
Oh.
No, you must stay away. He's telling the truth. He is my grandfather. My really and truly grandfather. Please, please.
Come on, Lyle. Don't be hysterical.
Grandfather.
You want your name upon a trial. You may take your child home.
I am not her child. She's a bad lady. She tried to dump me to the gypsies. Please. Please let the grandfather take me home. He didn't mean to do anything bad. I'll work hard and pay back for everything he broke. So will Swanee and Burley.
Pay no attention to her. She'll be all right when I get her to bed.
See?
I've seen that about 20 times.
Made everybody forget their problems and their troubles back in the 30s, and we'll be back with Shirley Temple Black in a moment.
Accommodations for some guests of Live provided by the Marriott Marquis, home of Broadway's Marquis Theater, and The View, New York's revolving rooftop lounge, New York's Marriott Marquis. And for tickets to Live with Regis and Kathie Lee, please write to Guest Relations, 36A West 66th Street, New York, New York, 10023.
Step to a candy shop where Bun Bun play. Confidently the peppermint bay.
Okay, we're with Shirley Temple Black. morning, and we're going to take a look at some of the photos that are in this new book called Child Star. The first one is Shirley and your mother. And was she a stage mother, or
The first one here?
Well, the first one we're going to see.
Can I tell you about that picture?
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting, I think. I wanted a picture of my mother without a hat on. And I went in the attic last July 3rd, got into a special cupboard and a chest in there, and found that picture. And it's just my favorite of her. And there was another little envelope in the box, and it was kind of a yellowed envelope, and on the front it said, Shirley's Baby Pics, and it was signed by my mother. And I opened it up and found a picture of me in the baby buggy, which is on the dedication page to my mama. And I had I'd written the dedication about 8 years ago, and then found this picture. And I'm naked as a little jaybird. I'm about 10 months old in my baby buggy.
Your mother didn't push you. You say you pushed her. You were so determined at such a young age.
I just loved my profession. It was just the best kind of thing one could do. I thought everybody worked. You know?
And you made over $3 million in your career, right?
Yes, I did.
There was a problem with the money.
There was a little problem at the end. I think I was 22 years old, and I asked my dad and his business partner, well, how much do I have? You know, because they kept saying ladies should not talk about money. It's not ladylike, so you shouldn't do it. So it turned out, after 2.5 hours of them giving me all these different figures, that what I actually had was $44,000.
After all of that, and after making
But actually, I would have paid the studio to work. I loved it that much, and I think I did pay the studio.
You probably did.
That caused some problems there because it was your father who was managing your so-called trust fund. He stopped.
My dad left school in the 7th grade, and I kind of feel that the culprit was his partner, the business partner, because my dad was very generous. Everybody loved him. Everybody was his friend, and he would not have done that. They lived so modestly. No big trips, no big parties, very modestly.
So there's no anger in you towards your father?
Not at all, no. In fact, my mom and dad lived at my house in Northern California until they died. My mom died in 1977, and then I took care of my father. He died in 1980, just before my granddaughter was born. So,
Shirley, bring us up to date now. You've been married for 34 years.
38.
38 years.
In fact, in December, we do 39.
That's so great.
And how many children?
3.
3. And did you have any aspirations for them to follow in your footsteps?
I think that a child can do anything that they want to do. I happen to like what I was doing. My children, I had on 3 of my TV shows in the early 60s. And they didn't care for it. They didn't like sitting around and waiting, and they didn't like the lights, and they didn't like it much. My eldest daughter is a writer. She writes for a local small newspaper at home and does art critique and sculpture and shows like
artistic.
that. Yeah.
Have any idea of your fame?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, how can, yes.
You know who didn't, though? And this might be the cutest story in the book. Yeah,
whoops. My Mike.
She still feels that way after 39 years.
Didn't know who you were, really. Thought you were a secretary or something.
I was honored he thought I was a secretary. Yes. I can't even type. And I thought it was terrific, but then he spoiled it. He said, well, what do you do? And I said, I'm a motion picture actress. And he said, oh, you're a starlet.
Which was a real cut.
Those are fighting words when you're a star. I said, I was a starlet between 3 and 4.5.
Oh. I tell you what, let's go out with one more look at Shirley Temple. And this is Poor Little Rich Girl, another one of those great Shirley Temple classic films, okay, from 1936. Shirley Temple one of her favorite scenes of all time from her movies. The book is called Child Star, and Shirley Temple's whole story, the official story,
Yep,
right
the
here.
only.
Thanks, Shirley. We'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.